great vibes, a party atmosphere, and 24/7 happy hour. That's what the Juicy Box in Brooklyn promised. However, when the owner's 21-year-old son took over the management of the Haitian health food bar and restaurant in 2019, it suddenly became a party place for his friends and the center of his social life.
Let's get some shots going, because I need a shot right now.
Shot o'clock, shot o'clock!
The customers quickly dropped down his priority list, as did the standard of food and drinks he served. Based in vibrant Little Haiti, Jacques Sylvester is the proud owner of several local businesses, and trusted his son, known as Q, to take the reins, along with his sister, Zappy, who runs the front of house. But Q's chaotic management style means there's been no smooth sailing since he launched on his own.
You should see the fridge downstairs. Did you take a look? Our inventory sucks. Downstairs is up.
Customers have drifted away after experiencing poor service, long waits, and disappointing meals. And Q's parents' investment of around $1 million is no longer keeping the business afloat. Gordon arrives on a sunny morning, looking forward to a fresh juice to kickstart his day. Unfortunately, the door is still locked at 10 a.m. He heads out into Brooklyn for a stroll, and when he returns at 2 p.m., the restaurant is finally open. Inside, he's spotted by Q, who grew up watching Gordon on TV, so he should know what's about to hit him. Zappy approaches Ramsay's table and takes an order for a green juice. Sounds simple enough, but there's a problem. The juice machine is broken, and has been for 8 months. Q tells Zappy that instead of juices, they serve smoothies, and they dance together happily as they prepare one for Chef Ramsay. Zappy returns to Gordon with his drink.
Is that a juice or smoothie?
It's a juice.
But that looks like it's been blended.
Yeah, I blended it.
Right, so you don't blend juicy.
Zappy finally agrees that he's been served a smoothie, which isn't a great start for the Juicy Box. Gordon places his order. Once Zappy has finished listing the menu items that aren't available that day, he's disappointed that they're out of snapper, as he was looking forward to sampling it Haitian style. When Zappy takes the ticket to the kitchen, she's told that the snapper is now available again, which at least gives Gordon something to almost smile about. 30 minutes later, and Chef Ramsay still has no food. That's because his order has been given to the wrong table. Finally, a dish of wings is delivered and Gordon is ready to dig in. Unfortunately, his plastic cutlery isn't. Using his hands instead, he's disappointed that the chicken tastes bland, store-bought, and not at all Haitian. In the kitchen, more food is ready, but it's been left sitting on the side. A loud argument kicks off about who should have delivered it, and Gordon wanders back to find out what's going on. Q makes the mistake of asking if there was a problem with the food, giving Ramsay the chance to point out he hasn't had it yet. Gordon grabs his own jerk chicken tacos and walks back to the dining room. It wasn't worth the effort. Bland, dry chicken is served in a cold taco with none of the fresh and vibrant local flavors Ramsay was hoping for. Q seems unflustered by the experience so far and takes shots at the bar instead of helping to manage the confusion in the kitchen. Next up is the Haitian rice with grilled salmon, which is once again dry and disappointing. When Q delivers the Haitian red snapper, Gordon asks for metal cutlery, but the manager explains that even for meat dishes, they provide plastic, knives and forks, and hope for the best. The snapper tastes fresh and is beautifully seasoned with what the family calls Poppy's sauce, a recipe inspired by Q's Haitian grandfather. Ramsay asks the manager about the juice machine, which he now says has been broken for a whole year.
So maybe we should change the name.
Change the name?
But we can't call it Juicy Box because there's no juice, is there?
Gordon asks Q why he's not serving juices early in the morning, and he admits he's at home relaxing until midday, when he takes a shot and gets to work. Ramsay is concerned, and Q is surprised that the celebrity chef hasn't fallen for his great personality. Instead, Gordon is unimpressed by the free-for-all that's happening among the staff. It's time to meet the owner, Jacques, who tells Gordon that for the first 2 years, the business was thriving. They opened at 7 a.m. and their fresh juices were a huge success with the morning gym crowd. Q was so hardworking and ambitious that Jacques trusted him to continue the family legacy. But now he's stopped working out himself and parties late at night instead, then refuses to open up before lunchtime. And Zappy doesn't help, drinking and staying up late with her brother. The business is losing money every month, and Jacques feels that financially he only has 60 days to turn things around. Gordon sits down with Zappy and tells her that he feels sorry for her father. Zappy responds that her role is to help out, but she enjoys drinking and hanging out at the bar more than working there. Ramsay tells her that any other owner would have fired her 2 years ago, and the staff partying needs to stop. Gordon doesn't have much faith that Q is capable of running the restaurant. He tells the young manager that he's lucky to have a father who supports him, as Ramsay didn't have the same thing. Q assures him that he's serious about making the business a success, but can't do it without more help from the rest of the team, and particularly Zappy, who doesn't listen to him. To focus Q's attention, Gordon reveals that Jacques has given them 60 days to stop making a loss. He wants the partying to stop and the doors to be open for the early morning crowd. But first, he wants to see the team in action. The next day, Chef Ramsay observes the kitchen at work. As orders come in, there's no proper system for calling them, and it's not clear from the tickets which dishes are appetizers and which are entrees. As if to prove his point, one of the first tables is served, with their entrees. The kitchen missed the appetizers completely. Another table's pasta dish is missing chicken because Zappy didn't write it down. And diners are sitting in front of dirty dishes which aren't being cleared.
There's no station, there's no organisation. Right, hands on fire. Really bad.
The head chef, Stef, is under huge pressure, with no systems to support him. At the sink, Ramsay spots a large jar being cleaned. He's told it's come from the walk-in, and it's warm because the fridge doesn't work. It's been broken for 6 months, and when Gordon enters, the smell of the fly-infested storage space is disgusting. Vegetables are rotting in the heat. He calls down Q and Stef, who both admit they were in the fridge that morning. Instead of running at 38 to 40 degrees, the fridge is measuring 73. Q admits the walk-in should have been fixed long ago, because any food stored in there is just wasted. Gordon calls a staff meeting. He's horrified at the lack of systems and standards in the restaurant. The broken equipment and party attitude mean the business isn't viable in his eyes. Q admits the business isn't running perfectly, but he's determined to keep it open. Ramsay asks to speak to Q and Zappy alone, and tells them they're playing at running the restaurant, and they should be embarrassed at using the bar as their own personal hangout. Gordon feels his advice will be wasted on the pair, and he's only interested in helping as he feels sorry for their parents. Chef Ramsay wants them to start taking accountability for their actions. The siblings agree and are ready for an early start the next morning. At 5:30 a.m., Ramsay is Q hard at work, in the gym. Acting as his own personal PT, Gordon has him pedaling, squatting, and planking to prepare him for the hard work and 7 a.m. openings that lay ahead. As Q figures a celebrity chef is old enough to be his grandfather, he's not too worried about keeping up. But that may be a mistake.
Up, down.
Go back up!
Come on! Up!
Back at the restaurant, the staff has been busy cleaning and learning new recipes in the kitchen, while Gordon's team has given the dining room a makeover. The dark walls and furniture have been replaced by bright, clean, and vibrant colors, giving the juicy box a Caribbean feel. The room is light and airy, and the bar is stocked with fresh fruit and a brand new, working juicer. Owner Jacques has been reduced to tears, and he hasn't even tasted the food yet. Gordon hands out new metal cutlery, and the team digs into fresh, Haitian-inspired recipes full of traditional flavors. And for inspiration, he has framed a picture of their Poppy, the creator of the original family seasoning. But that's not all. He's dialed in on video call to see the new food for himself. The entire family is energized and determined to make the business work. Before service begins, Gordon reveals he has invited Gary Pierre, a writer for the Haitian Times, as a special guest at the relaunch. It's time for the doors to open and orders start coming in. Back in the kitchen, Stef gets to work, and the food leaving the kitchen is met with great feedback. Q is directing the staff to keep the service running smoothly, and the kitchen team is pulling together. But suddenly, Stef is confused. 2 college kids have ordered subs, and 20 minutes later, there's no sign of them. The kitchen's gone quiet, and communication has stopped completely. Gordon encourages him to step up and speak out to get orders out the door fast. Without direction, the team members are all standing around, waiting for instruction. Stef takes a moment to regain control, and the staff has once again found a comfortable rhythm. Customers are happy, and the relaunch service was a huge success. Q and Zappy are proud of all they've achieved, and are sure they can maintain the systems that have been put in place. As a parting gift, Gordon has asked a local executive chef to mentor the pair. He's passionate about Caribbean cuisine, and will be on call to keep the business on track. As he leaves, Gordon is relieved that the Juicy Box has once again found its identity. With a little discipline, he's sure that Q can make the Juicy Box profitable once again. Just over 60 days later, Q has become a reliable leader and rediscovered his ambition. He's got to grips with the early starts and is excited about the future of the Juicy Box. The Juicy Box episode of Kitchen Nightmares was filmed in June 2023 and aired in November of that year. Reviews immediately following Gordon's visit were good, with most customers in the second half of 2023 giving the restaurant 5 out of 5 on Yelp. Though it's worth noting that many of the great reviews mention the drinks at the bar being strong and the music being a crowd pleaser. But by early 2024, there was a definite shift, with a number of 1-star reviews and complaints from unhappy customers. A common theme was a terrible smell in the bar, with some complaining they got an immediate headache from the dining room. While some enjoyed the food, others complained about slow service, rude wait staff, and being sent cold dishes. One of those reviews may, or may not, have been left by Gary Pierre, the journalist from the Haitian Times who attended the relaunch. It seems unlikely, but he didn't ever write an actual review in his newspaper. Instead, he just published a 1-sentence paragraph with a link to his appearance on the website. So maybe it was a case of not having anything nice to say, so he chose to say nothing at all. In 2024, a committed Nightmares location visitor, who calls himself WeirdFish1995, stopped in at the Juicy Box for his morning juice. But he wasn't in luck. When he arrived at 10 a.m., the doors were closed, and he found out they weren't opening until 3 p.m. So no review and no breakfast for him, or anyone else hoping for a healthy, early morning juice after their workout or on their way to work. It seems that Q's promise to Gordon that he would embrace the early morning crowd can't have lasted long at all. Instead, the late night events were very much back on the agenda, as they had never really stopped. Though one party night could be excused, a Kitchen Nightmares viewing party, which ended up being delayed when the broadcast date shifted. The Juicy Box Instagram page still features food and drink, but an event page also shares details of the regular late-night parties they hold almost every weekday. At the weekends, they do open before lunch, at 11 a.m., for a boozy brunch instead of partying into the night. If you're wondering whether their neighbors hate them for changing their health food business into a club, well, yes, we can confirm they do. In December 2020, a community board meeting was held to discuss the Juicy Box's liquor license, which they had lost during the pandemic for violating the temporary restrictions imposed within the industry. At this meeting, their neighbors detailed the disruption the bar was causing within the neighborhood, which is largely residential, including a shooting in the parking lot and regular unacceptable noises and disturbances in the early hours. Questions were raised to the authorities at another local meeting about premises being licensed for both cannabis and alcohol sales. It could be assumed that this would be a worry for Q, an attendee at the meeting, as he planned his Weed and Waffles 420 event. The neighbors were clear that they could pinpoint exactly when the problem started. No surprise to hear it's when Q took over the management role from Jacques. So it's safe to also assume the locals were happy when Gordon tried to revert the business back to its original purpose. And they probably won't have been thrilled that the change of hours didn't stick, and the late-night partying was back on the agenda. The last Yelp review in January 2024 confirmed that Q was back to his old ways, handing out free shots and partying with guests. That will come as frustrating news to viewers of the show, who were not surprised that the spoiled siblings weren't making the business work. They also didn't have much sympathy for Jacques, who had trusted them with running the restaurant. That's a shame, as it seems that Jacques' intentions were good. In the episode, he spoke to Gordon about his dream of supplying a natural and healthy alternative to fast food in the neighborhood. But what he didn't mention was that his son Q himself had benefited. In an online interview, Q revealed the positive role the Juicy Box had played in his life as a 375-pound teenager arriving from Florida.
So in 2018, we started as a juice bar vegan restaurant, and during the first year, I lost over 100 pounds.
But, as with any personal trainer, just one session with Gordon obviously wasn't enough to relight that fire and get Q back on track. It seems viewers didn't enjoy the episode because they couldn't relate to the people. It has a 6.5 out of 10 IMDb rating, the lowest of Season 8. As of today, almost 2 years after Gordon's visit, the Juicy Box is still open for business in Little Haiti. It has a Yelp rating of 3.6 and a Google rating of 4.2. We hope that Q manages to keep the business up and running, and that he takes at least some of Chef Ramsay's advice to heart in the future.